this video, I'm going to show you how to get the Trophy Collector skin for Maya, as well as beating Terminus's main Easter egg. Now, this is going to be quite a challenge, especially if you're doing it solo, and I highly recommend starting out with the GS45 pistol. These are the attachments I'm using on it. More importantly, having the extended mag number 2 for more bullets, as well as the akimbo version so that you have 2 of the guns, because you're going to run out of ammo with these quite often, but they are going to do absurd damage. You're also going to want to have the Ether Shroud Field upgrade, something that's going to allow you to avoid detection from enemies so that you can do certain objectives while not being attacked during doing those objectives. For that exact same reason, we're going to take a decoy tactical, which we're going to throw down to let zombies crowd around in the moments that we need to interact with things so that the zombies aren't hitting us when we're interacting with them. These are the Gobblegums that I'm going to be using for this run. I recommend using something similar. The only one that I recommend here is really the Idle Eyes, because it's going to help you defuse the bombs without getting attacked by enemies when you have a timer on your screen to do so. So first things first, we're going to have to progress a little bit and gain salvage. You're going to need 500 salvage in particular. That is because you need to add on the electric effect to your ammo type by going to the arsenal. So at the arsenal, you can buy dead wire, and you're going to equip this on your weapon because you need it to activate some circuitry and make electricity happen. Then you're going to progress the general story to activate the generators until you power the final generator in the biolab. Once you've done so, you can make your way to the Pack-a-Punch or the lift in the biolab. So the Pack-a-Punch, which is located right over here, which might be a good time to use it as well. But essentially, you're going to use the lift, and you're going to use the weapon that you have that dead wire activated on it for its electrical attacks, its electrical bullets. Now we're going to be shooting 3 panels in a very particular order here. It's going to be first this one in that window, there over there on the right, and then behind us again on this side. As they light up with blue, the circuitry kind of like moves, and we have to go to the 4th location. So you're just going to go ahead and you're going to follow me here to the 4th panel. It's going to be inside this building over here on the left wall. You're going to shoot that one, it will move it. It will then go to the opposite side of this wall, shoot this one, and it opens up this room. Kill the zombie on the floor, you'll get this EMF fob. Before I can explain anything in this room, we first have to collect another device. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn around, and you can go ahead and you can follow me, or you can skip ahead to the location we're going to. It's just right over here in this C tower. On this desk, there's a hand with a briefcase on it. This has a multiphasic resonator inside it. This is where it's located. And you're going to turn around, and we have to find 3 laptops and activate them and turn them on. The first one is over here by the docks. So this section just at the top of the ladder that leads to the docks at this location, just interact with it so that the screen turns on. The second laptop will be around this side over here. I'm just showing you the pathway to get there if you're still learning the map yourself. So up here, it's going to be all the way to the top end of the map over here. This is where the storage area is. So interact with this. It's located right over here on the map. And then the next one, the third and final one, is going to be quite close by. It's not going to be a massive distance walk away. So we're just going to go through these buildings over here, just a bunch of mantling, and you'll see the third and final one is here. And that basically activates some laptops that you can now use a code inside that room. Now, this part gets very tricky, right? When you interact with this machine, interact with it with a few times, it will then put stickers on this machine for X, Y, and Z. And this is a mathematical equation that you need to use the board on the left to figure out what the X, Y, and Z's are. And then the algebra on the right-hand side to, solve the math. Now, every time you play Terminus, this combination will be different. You won't always have the same numbers, unfortunately. So now I'm going to explain how this works and the quickest way to solve it. So first, you have to figure out what X, Y, and Z are. You can use this chart at the bottom over here. You see X is the same as this one over here. And if you go here, you'll see there's a 1 over here, and it's in column 0. So the answer for X is 10 because it's 1, 0. You can see Y is in this column over here, probably the most complicated one. You can see there's a 2 and a 1. That means it is 21 because it's in 2 and 1. For Z, you can see 0 is in the 0 and 0. That means the answer or the code for that is just 0, 0. It's a 0 essentially. And now we have to do some algebra. For our first equation, it's 2x plus 11. X is 10. The way this is worked out, because this is essentially a multiplication, it's 2 times 10, which means this is 20 plus 11 equals 31. Moving on to the second equation, we have 2z. We know z is a 0, so it acts as a 0. 2 times 0 is 0 because anything times 0 is 0. Plus y, which is 21. So it's 0 plus 21 minus 5. So we know that this one is going to be 16. And for the final equation, you just have to quite simply put those numbers in the board like this, z0 minus 10. Of course, following the rules of math, you would first do 21 plus 0. Right now this is a 0, but sometimes it might be a different number. And 21 minus 10 is 11, which means our code is 31, 16, 11. But in case you can't figure out the math or you just don't want to, you can spend 5,000 credits to go to this location over here with Peck through this window, and you can actually get the code from him and he will just, give you the code so that you can skip the whole mathematical process. Once we go ahead and we type this combination in, you'll see it will activate the resonator on top of the machine. Now you just have to skip around, so play through an entire full round until that resonator is ready on top of that device. Once you've done this, you can return to that room, and on top of that machine, the multiphasic resonator will be ready for you to grab. You should also note that the island marked on the screen is where you're heading next. So we can go down to the docks and we can go ahead and grab a boat and take our boat there. Once you get here, there will be a glowing orb. In this case, it's going to be blue. And once you put the multiphasic resonator in it, by interacting with it, it will basically make zombies spawn around you, and it will shoot a blue laser at a zombie, like this one over here. And then when you kill this zombie, they will drop a smaller blue orb, and you have to put this into the main one. So if you defeat this enemy, they drop the blue orb, you pick it up, and you put it in the main one. Once you've done this, the orb will disappear and it will move to its next location. Take note of where it flew. Also pick up the multiphasic resonator on the floor before you leave, because you will need it again to activate the next orb. In our case, it's the bottom one and it's a green one. We're going to go ahead and activate this and do the exact same thing, but this time with little green orbs. Once you've completed that, you can head to the third and final island. So it will be this one over here. In our case, this is the purple island, and you just go ahead and you put your resonator in that purple orb, and you complete the same process of killing zombies that have the purple little orbs. Once you've done so and you've completed it, you actually have all the ingredients that you need to go to the workbench back at that main room to craft the beam smasher. If you're lucky, you can always get the beam smasher from the wonder box, which saves you a ton of time. We're now going to look for a busted tentacle trap like this one over here. This one is fine. This one's not where it is. We have to go to another location, which is going to be by the biolab. You'll see just as you go through either of the tunnel doors, there's a grate over here. This one's closed. This is not the right one. So we're going to check the other side. And you'll see by this one over here, it is open. When it is open, this is the one you need to do. So you're going to have to go ahead and open up the door. You're going to have to activate the trap. Once you have it activated, you're going to use the beam smasher to shoot into it for like 2 seconds or so. And you will see this will drop a hard drive on the ground that you can go ahead and collect. You're then going to make your way to Peck's location, which is where you started the game mode, and you're going to slide the hard drive through that little metal box at the window. And now we're going to need to get a 3-digit code. So from Peck over here, we're going to go into the interrogation room to the left. So follow along here, look through this window. You will see a clock on the wall. We have to look at the hour hand to the number the hour hand is pointing at. In this case, it is 1. So 1 o'clock, which means the first number is 1. Okay, then we're going to go to the mess hall. In the mess hall, we're going to go to this door over here behind this little crate of fruits. We're going to see a card with a 2 on it. So that is 1, 2. If you do have an ace means 1, okay, in case you do get that. Then going to make our way to the next room, which is engineering over here. And you'll see there's a sign that says days since lost injury, 5. So we know the code is going to be 1, 2, and 5. I don't think it actually matters what order you type the code in, so carry you through this entire experience, I promise. Once you're ready, head down to the biolab, interact with it, and then wait for him to speak, and then type in the code that you got from the items that you had the different numbers in, and then turn the valve. If you're in multiplayer, it's important to turn the valve at the same time as every single other player. So if you're 4 players, you're gonna have to turn that valve exactly at the same time. Now you'll have to defeat Nathan. You don't have a time limit for this, but it is a bit difficult because you are trapped in the biolab. But if you did Pack-a-Punch level 2 and if you're using the GS45s, this is why I told you to use them. This is why. That's why. Because he's dead. At this point, you can watch the cutscene. And after that, you're going to have to progress at least 1 round so that the key card can spawn. And then you're going to jump into the water around the biolab under where the lift is located. Jump into the water. You should see the yellow glow, swim to it, and pick up the key card just like this. This is located over here for the perspective of the lift over there. So in case you need to know where to swim. Before we continue on to the next step, I highly recommend you have 3 levels of armor at this point. Trust me, you're gonna want this because you're gonna be getting hit a lot, and you want to make sure you stay alive. You're now going to make your way to the shipwreck, so go ahead and grab a boat and sail to the west side of the map where the big shipwreck is located. You're not going to go on the left here. You're actually going to go in the middle underneath it over here because there is a ladder to a secret room that we can now go ahead and access. Once you go in this room, and pick up the things on the table, this is going to start a kind of wave of zombies attacking you in this room, and you have to defeat all the waves of enemies until you can leave. So yeah, this is why I said get 3 armor, because you're going to be trapped in this room for a short while, and without these guns that I'm using, you might have a tough time. Now you'll notice there were 2 pipes on that table. You can only carry one at a time, and when you do pick it up, you cannot sprint. So as a solo player, you have to return here again. If you're a multiplayer, one of you can do one place and the other one can do the other, which saves you some time. You can see I have to take a single node first, and the first place we're going to go to is the island at the very southern end of the map. So just below the shipwreck over here, you'll check that the cable is over there. If it is empty, you have to repair it, right? There are 3 locations. 2 of them are broken. That one was fixed. It might not be fixed in your game. That one might have been one you had to repair. The next one is going to be located under the sea tower right over here. So go ahead and follow me directly under the tower, and you'll see that the cable here is going to definitely be broken because that first one was fixed. And this is where I recommend using like a decoy grenade so that you don't have the aggro of the enemies attacking you, and then just go ahead and repair that with a pipe and then return to the ship so that you can get the second pipe, and I'm going to show you where the third location is for checking to repair. Next area we're going to is the leftmost cave system by the biolab, right? So the one that is on the west, the left-hand side of the map. I will show you a location on the map, but this is just how you get here. You're going to go to the left. Once you go in here, you're going to follow the cable along the wall until you find the section where it's broken, just like this. This is located right over here on the map in case you don't know where I am right now. Again, this is a great time to use one of your decoy grenades and go ahead and start the repair so that the zombies are focused on the decoy instead of attacking you, in case you have a horde of them like that. We're then going to return to Peck with the window where you started the mode right at the very beginning, and he will give you a hacking device after some talking. So just wait a couple of seconds until you can pick up the hacking device, and now we're returning back to the ocean. This is a perfect time to go ahead and make sure you craft yourself for some more decoys and get all of those stocked up, because there is a timer that's going to begin with the next part here. So we're going to the docks, we're getting a boat, and we're going to go to the shipwreck, and you'll see there's a buoy. As soon as you start at this, it's going to start a timer that you will literally fail and lose if you don't succeed. So hold the interact button, F on keyboard or whatever the interact button is for other console players, to interact with the buoy to hack the device. Then you're going to go ahead and ride the boat around the island. Make sure you take out the parasites before you start hacking, otherwise they're going to do a ton of damage to you and your boat. Get to the buoy, hold the interact button until the hacking thing happens, and then go ahead and ride your boat to the next one. So you'll find these pretty easily as you go around the map. You should be able to find these easy enough, as you can see, and or just follow the path that I'm taking, which will, you know, really help. But honestly, you're going to find them. It's more important that you do this before the timer ends. You can see I still did it with 36 seconds to spare in solo, so it's really easy to do. In multiplayer, it's even easier because somebody else can shoot the birds. Now, as soon as you've done this, another countdown is going to start after the talking. This one's going to be 5 minutes, and you have to defuse 3 bombs in the biolab. Now, 2 of the bombs are going to be located to the left and the right of the melee macchiato areas, just before the staircases. And you can see here, defusing does take quite a bit of time here, so you can't just stand and get smacked by hordes of zombies as they spawn around you endlessly, because you can't just kill them all and run away. That's why I have idle eyes or decoy grenades. You'll see if we go to the other staircase on the other side from the melee macchiato perk machine, you'll find the other diffusal bomb that you have to defuse before the timer runs out. Like I said, you have 5 minutes, but the enemies keep respawning, so you can't just like kill them and be like, cool, it's only 1 zombie left. You have to make sure you're ready for this. Final bomb location is actually on the upper level, just above melee macchiato, but not up the second stairs over here. Just in this little section over here, you'll see it sticking out. It should have a nice blue glow to it. I'm just in idle eyes right now, so that's the actual color that it looks like right now. And you see I was able to do this in 3 minutes 53 seconds still remaining on the clock. Now that you've done this, there are no more timers that you have to compete with. You've actually done pretty much everything you need to unlock the boss fight, and you're just waiting to start it. But before you start it, do not be stupid. Make sure you go ahead and Pack-a-Punch to level 3. You will not do enough damage if you don't get Pack-a-Punch level 3. I promise you it's going to be absolutely horrendous if you go in there with a Pack-a-Punch level 2 weapon and you realize you don't do any damage and you're gonna die. You wasted all your time. If you have the ray gun, man, you are sorted for this. Otherwise, you can try do it with the GS45s. That just might be a bit more challenging. Now, the boss fight is actually located through here next to the melee Macchiato machine over here in the biolab. You just have to interact with the little keypad and this will start the cutscene. Now, if you don't want to see spoilers, you can leave now. I am going to be giving some tips on how to fight the boss if you are staying, so stay for that then. So first things first is this Kraken boss will raise his hands and smack. When he smacks, make sure you're not in front of where he smacks. You can avoid his smacks by hiding behind the little two corners, like this over here. You won't take damage when you're behind this thing. To damage him, you will have to shoot those shiny little red circles on him. I will mention that I ran out of ammo several times with the GS45s. That's why I recommend bringing the ray gun as well. So I unfortunately only had the Beam Smasher with me and I had to use this to grind enough money, 5,000 essence, to buy ammo from the ammo crate that is in this boss area. Eventually the boss will disappear and you will hide for a bit and you will have to destroy some of these tentacles until he appears again. You can shoot the tentacles in the glowing yellow parts there to do as much damage as you can. When the boss comes back, you will see a max ammo will drop over here, which is very, very helpful. But the boss will now be covered in like a rock-like element with like lava and stuff. And now he's only weak in the mouth. So you want to shoot him in the mouth. I accidentally got hit there. You can see how much damage that does. It's terrible, scary, terrifying. If you have a chopper gunner, this is not the time to use it. You should have used it earlier in the first phase or after this phase because you don't really do a lot of damage here because you can't reach his weak points. Rather use the chopper gunner when you have, you know, access to his weak points. So not in this form like I did. So the only way to damage here is by shooting him in that middle part right over there where his mouth is, where you get the yellow damage numbers. So you've damaged him enough times, you will see his tentacles will have yellow on the tentacles, and you will have to shoot the yellow of his tentacles in order to break each of them to go on to the next phase of his fight. Then goes back into the rock form where you have to shoot him in the face yet again to keep bringing him lower. Then he hides and you have to take out some tentacles. It's a bit of like a repeat and a recycle to get him to just reappear again. When he comes back, he's going to go into a blue form, and if you're on the wrong side of the platform, you can always just jump off over here. You'll see there are ladders around, just in case you wanted to know. There are ladders on the left and the right-hand side. So yeah, just make sure when he's in that blue form, you're not standing in the middle because he does do something akin to a spirit bomb from Dragon Ball Z that is going to annihilate you if it hits you. In this blue form, it is incredibly dangerous, so don't get smacked by him. You can already tell at this point that this fight is quite hectic. So if you came here without Backup Punch 3 after I told you, man, you deserved it. Now to damage him in the blue form, you just shoot the shiny blue little eyes, I guess, on his body. At this point, he's also going to stick out his tongue. If that tongue grabs you, you are going to be screwed. So do not let that tongue touch you in the middle. So just stay on the side here, shoot the shiny red things to do damage. As he gets really low, the fight does get a bit more challenging. Enemies start spawning at a faster rate. You can see I've got like this Abomination, I've got Manglers, all of these things, and the boss at the same time. If you keep that consistent damage on the boss, you should win this as long as you're, you know, playing smart, you're equipping armor plates, you're getting ammunition, and you're just playing it safe and, you know, doing everything. It's easier in multiplayer, I'm not gonna lie. Solo is a lot more challenging, to be honest. It's a lot more challenging, but you can do it. You just watched me do it, and I'm not the greatest player. That's how you can unlock this skin, as well as exfil if you still want to exfil and leave the island. I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching.